Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
Start tonight with the Marlins and the Mets in South Florida. The skies clearing a bit. Sun Life Stadium for the Mets and the Marlins. Finishing up a three-game series. Split at a game apiece. Tarp is off. Grounds crew has the field ready. So we're getting ready for some baseball. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton after a hard day's night last night.
Yeah, it was when you put in that many hours and have an hour and 14-minute rain delay, extra innings, you'd like to come out a winner. You feel a little bit better about it. That wasn't the case last night, so right back at it today, as our old friend Jeff Cox used to say.
That's right. If you want to recap last night, good luck, because there are a lot of things that happened in last night's ballgame.
All right, you ready for the numbers? Go through. Look at it, 44, 48, 45, 10, 23. You know, the worst part about all of that is that the Marlins were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They left 16 men on base. Guess what? The Mets weren't much better. They left 15 men on base. Both teams had many opportunities. The Marlins early in the game had 3 chances with a runner at third and less than 2 out and weren't able to produce a run. And that changes the whole complex as you get deeper into the game.
One small note about the game, which becomes a much larger story in this one, is that Matt Dominguez made his Major League debut last night as a pinch hitter. He was hit by a pitch. He gets his first start in the big leagues in this ball game.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I know he's excited about it. He's facing a knuckleballer. You don't see many of those in the minor leagues. But the 22-year-old now hit .258, had 12 home runs, played terrific defense in the minor leagues. And remember, got off to a tough start because he had that elbow hit by a pitch, a stress fracture there. And it took him a while to kind of get in a flow. But I think he's ready to go. His parents are here all the way from Southern California. It should be fun.
What is this, the 18th time these two teams have played? There are no secrets between the two. So the pitching matchup, not a mystery. Coventry Healthcare of Florida brings you R.A. Dickey and Brad Hand.
Well, guess what? You're going to see hard knuckleballs from R.A. Dickey, who has not allowed an earned run to the Marlins in 13 innings this year. And with Brad Hand, again, get the ball in the strike zone. Last 2 outings for Hand, he's gone 5 innings. He'd like to take the game a little deeper.
So there you go. It's Brad Hand. It's R.A. Dickey. The Marlins and the Mets finish off not only this series, but their season series. Long day's night. Yes, it was. Marlins have played 2 of those games in the last 3. We'll recap when we return. But things have cleared up. That means baseball is ready to go. Harry Hill trotting on and off the field. Let's go down below. Jeff Conine and Craig Minervini. Guys?
Thank you, Rich. You would have thought the way the schedule has gone for the Marlins of late that once that tarp got on there today and they moved the game up 2 hours, that we were going to start about 7 o'clock anyway, because it's been a crazy schedule. But the rain did stop. We'll see. Kind of cross your fingers on this one. But it's been a kind of a wacky schedule here with the long rain delay over the weekend, then the 14-inning game. Last night went 12 innings, and it was a long 12 innings with a rain delay. Is that disruptive for the players?
It is, but I think when you play here in Florida at this stadium, you are more prepared than any other player in the big leagues about handling stuff like this. So, yes, it is a distraction, but when you think about baseball, there's a lot of standing around, and then you got to apply your focus when the pitch is in the strike zone. So I think the guys, most baseball players, are really experts at being able to take a break and not focusing and then putting their focus back in, especially when the game's on. So, you know, they find ways to stay loose in the clubhouse with their playing cards or whatever, but I'll tell you what, when that game says, okay, we got game time at 8:20 or whatever that game time is, guys get in the cage, they get ready, and it's back to baseball.
Well, things were so strange last night. Jack McKeon went old school on us. He stayed right in the clubhouse, and he slept in his office and was here bright and early as he woke up at the ballpark today. Well, more of that coming up during the game. Right now, we'll turn our attention to the finale of Mets Marlins in this stadium. It's coming up with Rich Walsh and Tommy Hutton's call. R.A. Dickey, Brad Hand, the matchup next.
Party.
For game 3 of a 3-game series, the Marlins and the Mets. Early start. Mets have a doubleheader tomorrow against Atlanta. Marlins move the start up 2 hours as a courtesy. Warren Henry, as a courtesy, brings you the lineups. Jose Reyes is back on top of the National League hitting list. Ruben Tejada's at second. Lucas Duda's in right. David Wright's at third base. Angel Pagan in center field. Jason Bay in left. Nick Evans, who had 3 big RBI hits last night at first. Mike Nikias will do the catching, and R.A. Dickey is on the mound.
Well, Brad Hand did have a start against the Mets up at Citi Field. A no decision. Marlins won that game 4-3. Went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, a couple of runs, kept the walks down. Had just 1 walk in that ball game. Reyes took him deep, hit a home run against him. And you see that lefties, righties down at the bottom. The changeup has been his good pitch, and that's why righties are hitting a little less against Brad Hand than the left-handers are.
I think the numbers against Hand, the number that stands out, if you're looking for a positive, the batting average against overall is .236, which means the kid has good stuff, and he's not easy to hit. If he can rein in the control and throw strikes a little more often, then you would think a little more success would follow. He faces a Met team that comes in just 2 under the 500 mark, and Reyes back on top of the National League hitting list, right in front of Ryan Braun. He takes ball 1. It's 1-0. Reyes, 4 hits in this series, 2 of them last night, including an RBI hit in the ill-fated 12th inning from the Marlins' perspective.
Yeah, we've kind of seen Reyes have that batting lead, lose it, and then regain it again from Ryan Braun.
Hand misses down low. Brad Hand is a young 21. He won't turn 22 until next March. Chaska, Minnesota. High school kid when he was drafted and signed in 2008. Liner to left. Morrison did not get it. He trapped it. A nice sliding play, though, by Lomo out and left.
Good play by Lomo, and also a good chance to try to sell it, but he knew that he picked it off the ground. Good job to keep it there and to keep Reyes at first. He quickly tried to hold up the glove to let the umpires know that he caught it, but second base umpire Doug Eddings saw it all the way.
Morrison last night had 2 collisions with the wall in left field. Here is Ruben Tejada, who's at second base. Just about everybody in uniform got into last night's ball game by the time the Marlins and Mets were done. After 4 hours and 29 minutes. Heaped upon that was an hour and 15-minute rain delay. And both managers grinding through their expanded rosters all the way through the bitter end in the 12th inning. Kerwin Danley's calling balls and strikes. Paul Nart, Doug Eddings, Dana DeMuth. You heard Craig's report that Jack McKeon figured last night lasted so long he might as well just spend the night in his office.
Have to ask Jack later how comfortable that sofa is in his office.
That used to be a little more commonplace in baseball.
Yeah.
Reyes, of course, a threat to run. And to the plate, Tejada hits it to left and hits it pretty well. Back goes Morrison at the track. Lomo has room. And right in front of the new ballpark, he makes the catch. Defensively, Marlins have a different look in this one.
All right, brought to you by Warren Henry. I want you to find Emilio Bonifacio quickly. There he is in right field. Dominguez, Matt Dominguez, his first start as a major leaguer. Donnie Murphy's at short. Infante and Gabby Sanchez. And John Buck behind the plate. Bonifacio has started 2 games at second, 51 at short, 24 in left, 6 in right, 7 in center, and 30 at third base.
And he was featured prominently in that X-Men promo. That one fouled back in on the hands of Lucas Duda. Bonifacio could be one of those X-Men guys. They throw the mask on him, and away he goes.
He smiles too much, though. They all have that serious look.
That superhero look?
Yeah, he smiles too much.
He would be the friendly guy. Duda last night, 1 for 5 night. Walked a couple of times. Hand misses away. It's 1-1. 10th start for Hand in the big leagues. He'd obviously like to get deeper in ball games. He has just 44 2/3 innings coming in. Has allowed a home run per start on average, 9 homers in the 9 starts. He misses up there. It's 2-1.
And I think, as we pointed out, Rich, he's in a position. He'll get a couple more starts. Somewhat of an audition. The Marlins have seen him 9 times previously. And you would think, because he's left-handed, when he shows up in spring training next year, he'll certainly get a look.
Larry Beinfest, the Marlins president of baseball operations, has said that starting pitching is at the top of the list going into the offseason. Remember, last year it was bullpen. That one is slicing away from Morrison, and that's real trouble, especially with Reyes' speed. Morrison slips, picks it up, and Reyes is going to come all the way home. Murphy's throw is not in time. That is dangerous, treacherous stuff in the corner and on the warning track. You've got that rubberized mat, which is for baseball players with metal spikes, not always the best in terms of traction. And Duda has himself an RBI double.
Lucas Duda now 17 RBIs his last 17 games, and here's that wetness over there as Lomo tries to plant. It's just not going to stick. He slides on that wet rubberized turf, and that slide allowed Reyes to score.
David Wright takes up and in.
A long night for David Wright last night. Long night for everybody, but even longer when you go 0 for 6.
Wright was red hot when the Marlins were just up in New York for the 5-game series, but as you saw with those numbers, he hasn't been as dangerous in this one. He had the long night last night, going 0 for 6. In the Marlins marathon on Sunday against the Phillies, it was Chase Utley who had the long day. He was 0 for 7. 1-1 pitch is popped up, and Gabby Sanchez is over for a look, and it's out of play. All Year Cooling presents the weather. 79 degrees. The humidity actually higher than the temperature. How about that? And it's overcast. There could be some showers in the area. New ballpark site. Roof on. Next year. What will we do? All Year Cooling is going to have to sponsor something else, Tom. Maybe the roof report.
You could have the outside weather. You can still sponsor that.
And then do the inside weather.
Yeah.
They're into cooling, so that's a perfect fit. The media had a big tour of the new ballpark today. A lot of stories online. The ballpark now 80% complete. Wright pops this one up, and it should be playable. Buck makes the catch with Dominguez coming down the line. Nice play by John.
Yeah, you could hear John really take over, the veteran leader that he is. I mean, you could hear him all the way up here calling, "I got it."
Let me ask you, in this case, would you rather have the pitcher just make this catch?
Yeah, I would. But as long as he's going to take over like that,
okay,
go ahead. I think a veteran pitcher who's a good fielder probably takes charge.
Call it and take it. Angel Pagan now. The switch hitter flips around to face the lefty. The Associated Press story about the Marlins ballpark today notes that the Marlins will play the Yankees in exhibition games on April 1st and 2nd. And it says that the first regular season game will be April 4th against the St. Louis Cardinals.
We had anticipated that because that rumor had been out there for a while.
There's been no official announcement from my understanding, but just to see that in print in a variety of stories catches the eye.
And then after the 2 exhibition games, I believe that game, can't call it a series, against the Cardinals would be 1 game.
Opening night.
And then off on the road to, you know, tweak things in the new ballpark and get things ready for the first official homestand.
1-1 pitch is hit well to left field. Morrison again is going back. Lomo's there and makes the catch. Oh, goodness.
Wow. This is dangerous.
Can't get out of this place soon enough. Smile and wave. All right, now take a look at the Marlins lineup. 1-0. Mets have scored. It's the bottom of the first. Here come the Fish. Jack has had to do a little tweaking to his lineup because of some injuries. Warren Henry brings you Emilio Bonifacio in right field. Omar Infante at second base. Logan Morrison in left. Gabby Sanchez at first. Brian Peterson in center. John Buck doing the catching. Matt Dominguez at third. Donnie Murphy gets a start at short. And Brad Hand hits ninth against R.A. Dickey. You see his season numbers. His season numbers against the Marlins have been darn near perfect. He's been outstanding.
Well, look at that. At 36, he has career highs in starts, innings pitched. Mentioned he leads the Mets in innings pitched this year.
Bonifacio takes a strike. Emilio checks in at 293. So his quest for 300 continues.
And as he did in New York, the switch hitter batting right-handed against the knuckleballer.
A couple hits last night. He's got a 9-game hit streak coming in. And he smacks that one on the line that is speared by Evans at first.
Mets set up defensively, brought to you by Warren Henry, Jason Bay, Pagan, and Duda, Wright and Reyes, Tejada, Evans, and Mike Nikias behind the plate. In a perfect world for the Mets, if they re-sign Jose Reyes, then Tejada probably is the second baseman next year. Now, if they don't sign Jose Reyes, Tejada, the youngster, who was a shortstop by trade, would probably move over to short.
Infante digging in against Dickey, and while some might shake a little bit when facing a knuckleballer, especially a guy like Dickey, Infante is 10 for 19 against him in his career with a homer and 3 RBIs. Just like that, huh?
You know, we pointed that out in New York. It was like a formula that was going to work. His numbers against the Mets this year and career-wise, and then you add on his numbers against R.A. Dickey, which he's now 11 for 20 against Dickey.
It hadn't added up in the series. He was 1 for 10 before that at bat. And here now is Logan Morrison. It should be noted that the Marlins right now are without Mike Cameron. He had tightness in his hamstring. They're without Mike Stanton. Remember, he tweaked a hamstring over the weekend. So they've got some guys that are nicked up that are not in the lineup. One guy that is nicked up that is still going out there every night and giving it his all is that man, Logan Morrison.
That's certainly worth noting.
I mean, you can see it on his face, the way he moves in the outfield.
I had an interesting thought on a couple of those balls that were hit his way, that he gets close to that wall, the way he's crashed into that left field wall. I had a thought that the wall probably sees him coming and goes, oh no, here comes Lomo again.
Maybe in the new ballpark they could install, you know how racetracks install those soft walls for collisions with the barrier system that collapses?
In NASCAR, they call those safer barriers, Rich.
Would you stop it? Mr. NASCAR, Tommy Hunt. You know, I should have known when you showed up today with Tide stitched on your Tommy Bahama shirt. The 2-1 is in the dirt, and Dickey misses down low. Why has R.A. Dickey been so good in his 2 starts against the Fish?
You know, I think he's just had his knuckleball under control. He throws it harder. We've documented that, harder than guys like Wakefield and even Phil Niekro. And I think he has control with it because he throws it harder, and it moves both ways. He can move it in to lefties. He can move it away to lefties. See what he throws 3-1 though early in the game.
Threw a fastball, it looked like, and it missed low and inside. Morrison tosses the bat aside. Gabby Sanchez coming up, and he may have read this scouting report before he got to the plate.
Well, let's hope he did. It's brought to you by Metro PCS. Herky-jerky delivery. That kind of helps his success. 85% knuckleballs. However, we saw him probably in New York throw more fastballs than we ever have. And he's got that quick move over to first.
So Infante is at second, and Morrison's at first, and Dickey misses outside. He's had remarkable control for a knuckleball pitcher with only 44 walks in 180 innings coming in. Normally the Wakefields and the Niekros, they have to live with a high walk total.
And I think that's because theirs is a little slower, so it floats, might move and dance around a little bit more. Dickey's moves quickly.
That went foul back to the screen. It's 1-2. Gabby's stroke seems to have come back to him. Though last night he took an offer on a long night. He had 3 hits in the series opener on Monday. Drove in a couple of runs, including his 31st double of the season.
Well, we've still seen the consistency. He's hit in 11 of his last 15. And as well as Infante's hit against the Mets, so has Gabby. Not only this year, but in his career as well.
Mets got a run in the first on a Lucas Duda double. Marlins trying to answer here, and that one is hooked foul. Fish trying to take the series. They won game 1. The Mets, of course, outlasted them last night.
Trying to take the season series. 9-8 against the Mets coming into this one. That was the slow one.
That was, and that's the other thing about Dickey, and we talk about a hard knuckleball that can get up in around 80. He'll also float one of the old-fashioned ones too.
Yeah, that was the old floating dancer. A good swing just to foul that off.
You see the pitch speed range. That fastball lives in the mid-80s. And there was the fastball. There was a time when he didn't throw the knuckleball, when he was a first-round draft pick of the Texas Rangers, out of the University of Tennessee. Hard thrower, big upside, had yet to sign his contract, and there was a medical issue. Here's the 2-2. One of the team doctors in
back-to-back fastballs, by the way. Don't see that too often.
In a photo, I think it was on the cover of Baseball America, just happened to glance at Dickey, and the way he was holding his arm, the team doctor thought that was a little odd, and the Rangers examined him and found he was without a certain ligament in his elbow. A roller up the middle, and that's going to be 2. And so Gabby Sanchez bounces into a double play. R.A. Dickey, without that ligament, still pitching in the big leagues. H. Gregg. Marlins and Mets. Brad Hand into his second inning in relief. A Lucas Duda double did the trick for the Mets in the first. And it's Jason Bay who climbs in here. Bay, a rough season. Started with some abdominal issues. Of course, he had the concussion the tail end of last year, and that was a concern going into spring training. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Nick Evans and Mike Nikias will follow.
Yeah, he was in a tough stretch when we were in New York. Remember, he had an 0 for 16, 0 for 17 going.
Into right field. Hey, that's Bonifacio out there. Emilio finding himself in right, and he may find himself in a lot of different spots with all the injuries the Marlins have had. Watch party coming up on Tuesday the 13th at Rivals Waterfront Sports Grill in Hollywood. Marlins and Braves from Turner Field. Billy will be there. DJ Petey, a special guest appearance. DJ Carrasco was unavailable. And the Mermaids as well. Win tickets and enjoy great food and drink specials. At Rivals, go to Marlins.com for more information. Here is Nick Evans. And Evans had quite a night last night. 3 of his hits put the Mets on top over the course of the ball game. And that's not something that happens on a daily basis in the big leagues. So for Terry Collins, he came up in big spots and delivered. He rolls that one out to short. Donnie Murphy getting the start there today. His 3 go-ahead RBIs. He's only the 2nd player this season to do that. Coco Crisp did it at Yankee Stadium. The last Mets player to do it was 2001 Mike Piazza against the Phillies.
Pretty impressive.
Here's Nikias giving Josh Tolley the day off, or I guess night off. Is a 5 o'clock start a night game or a late afternoon game?
I think it's considered a night game.
By Major League Baseball rules, a night game. If the game starts at 4:55,
now you're getting technical on it. And by the way, Paulino was the one who caught most of that game last night.
That's right. We saw Tolley as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, Ronnie caught all that game.
Nikias goes after a good fastball from hand. Brad gave up the single to Reyes in the first, and the double to Lucas Duda. Looking for a 1-2-3 second inning. Breaking ball didn't come far enough. Comes the 2-2. In the air, shallow right. Bonifacio calls off Infante, makes the catch, flips to his buddy, and away we go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Mets. Just see. By Toyota, moving forward by AT&T, by Checkers, little place, big taste, by All Your Cooling, today's comfort, yesterday's prices. In Miami tonight, Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, our entire Fox Sports Florida crew, the men and women that had to work late last night are back at it again tonight. Marlins hit the road and head to Pittsburgh. We'll have that game for you Friday night. A Friday night telecast. No television on Saturday, but television on Sunday. Brian Peterson got a promotion today. He was promoted to the number 5 spot in the lineup. Peterson has done just about everything well when he's been asked to do something this year, whether it's pinch hit, spot start, or start for a string of games.
Well, he had a couple of hits Last night, he was on base every time. Walked twice, intentionally walked one time, reached on an error, and just continues it here tonight.
He is, you know, I think probably 3 weeks ago we said, you know, Peterson's made a real nice case for himself to be a fourth outfielder or be included in the Marlins' plans next year. But the more you see him play, Tommy, you think to yourself, you know, if he hits well against lefties, and he's shown he can do that, if he plays good defense, he's shown he can do that, he could be an option for you in center field.
Hey, without question, 7-game hitting streak now for Brian Peterson.
Of course, you never know what's going to happen between now and spring training. Chris Coughlin certainly will have a thing or two to say about that if Coughlin indeed is back in center field and competing for that job.
That kind of goes back to Brian Peterson when he came up. Remember, Jack talked to him, said he was going to get him in there, and a couple of days after that, the Marlins acquired Mike Cameron.
Yeah.
And that changed that.
But
and Peterson handled it well.
Yeah, to his credit, you're right. I mean, some guys would be crushed, but you know, you kind of had a sense he would do okay when, after the first batting practice, he followed Cameron all over the place and got his pregame routine down in center field. That's a pretty good sign. That's a high fly ball that keeps carrying out to the track, and Duda's back there to make the catch.
Yeah, he was in Cam's back pocket, that's for sure.
All right, here's Dominguez now. There was a lot of anticipation last night when Dominguez came to the plate, making his Major League debut. That was in the 10th in a tie game. We had just shown one of the top moments in this stadium's history as far as the Marlins go, and that was Miguel Cabrera in his first Major League hit, a walk-off home run against the Rays, and all of a sudden you start to think, well, Dominguez is in the same spot. But he never really had a chance to do it. He fouled the pitch off and then got hit in the upper arm, left shoulder area.
He told me, too, today he has that pad there on his elbow. He had that stress fracture this spring when he got hit.
Bangs that one into center field, and there it is. Matt Dominguez, first big league hit.
Ah, that is nice. Well, what a nice swing, too, for a youngster, having not seen many, if any, knuckleball pitchers. Picks up his first Major League base hit. It was a clean single up the middle. But he never wore that elbow pad before, he said. And ever since he got hit in the spring, he's been wearing that most of the year.
Donnie Murphy with runners first and second and one out. Dickey misses in with a fastball. Murphy had some opportunities last night to end the ball game. In the 9th inning, had a couple of runners on and 2 outs and struck out. And in the 11th, same deal. A couple of runners aboard, and down went Donnie Murphy. Stretching back to the time just before he went on the disabled list. He's trying to snap the 0 for 23. That one bangs out of the glove of Nikias, and it certainly changes the at-bat of Murphy now.
Anytime you have a knuckleball pitcher on your staff, there's usually a catcher who leads the league in pass balls. And it was Tolley who caught R.A. Dickey in the game in New York.
Catchers generally use a different glove when they catch a knuckleballer. Something closer to a first baseman's glove than a catcher's glove.
Yeah, much bigger. You can see how big that one is. There are 2 reasons that runners like to steal against knuckleballers, because the ball moves all over the place. Tougher for the catcher to get the ball out of that mitt.
Infield's back, and Murphy pops it up.
And that's why over the years, knuckleball pitchers have always come up with really good moves to first base.
Murphy has a chance to tie this game if he puts the ball in play up the middle. The Mets infield is back. And you've got very good speed at third with Peterson. Dominguez is at second base. Murphy flips that one back into the seats.
Now the Marlins had this situation in the third inning last night. Infante hit a shallow fly ball to left field. In the fourth inning, Brett Hayes hit into a double play, and they had it again in the eighth inning. So they had opportunities last night just like this. Runner at third, less than 2 out.
Knuckleball, he went. So Murphy couldn't check it, and that's a big strikeout for Dickey. Murphy 0 for his last 3, and they've all been strikeouts with 2 runners aboard.
And certainly a much tougher situation facing a guy like R.A. Dickey.
Brad Hand now with 2 outs, and so Dickey gets Murphy. Now he can just face the pitcher, although sometimes that's easier said than done, especially if you're throwing a knuckleball. The guy behind the plate still has to catch it to keep that run at third base.
Hand's got a chance to see a fastball or 2, maybe one right here.
Hand does have 1 hit. And out to second, and the Marlins leave 2 and trail it 1-0. Cleveland Clinic, third inning. And it also means that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Florida Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Like Darren Dalton on the right there.
Do you think Dutch is here a week and a half, 2 weeks early for closing day?
Possibly.
And a strike to R.A. Dickey. Dickey leads it off. You got Jose Reyes and Ruben Tejada right behind him. If you've just joined us, Welcome aboard. Mets and Marlins worked early into the morning after a long rain delay and a long ball game, a 12-inning game. The Mets evened the series with the win 7-4, and the series finishes here. Hands breaking ball, and Brad spins around, makes the play, and flips it on over to first. Hand is a good athlete. I mean, you talk about a guy that played hockey, football, and of course baseball in high school. So any guy that is a multi-sport guy and also is a pitcher generally is pretty good around the mound.
Yeah, and I think we've seen him. He has the one base hit. We've seen him swing the bat pretty well. That's a good sign. Going to help you win some games when you do those things.
I'll have to ask Craig how his slap shot is.
Hey, we thought we had a late night, which we did. But how about the Yankees and the Orioles? Their game started about 4 hours late. It started a little after 11 in New York, and it lasted till 2:15, 2:30 or so. Then they had a day game today. Orioles came back and beat them today in the day game.
Reyes stands in. The count's 2-0. He lined a single at the feet of Logan Morrison out and left his first time up. By the way, if you're scoring with us at home, the Phillies protest for the call on Sunday has been officially stamped denied by Joe Torre, the Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations.
Does that mean we can officially put that to rest?
Well, we got the official word from Major League Baseball, the delineation of the actual rule, and the fact that they felt the umpires followed the rule to the letter. We got that on Monday, and so the Phillies apparently getting the message today. Reyes takes outside, and the count's 3-2. Tejada waits, and so does Reyes on the 3-2 pitch, which is out, and Reyes is aboard. And up comes Ruben Tejada. Jack McKeon's ball club sits at 63 and 78 as they get closer to the 81 loss mark, which would tip them to a losing season, which at this point seems inevitable with the schedule moving forward. You got Atlanta coming in. The Marlins have 2 at Philadelphia on the road, 3 at Pittsburgh, 3 in Atlanta, 3 in Washington. But the ball club certainly would like to get out of the basement. You don't want that last place moniker affixed. That will sting for the entire offseason. And the Marlins 2.5 games behind 4th place Washington. So that's certainly doable with the games against the Nationals left.
Yeah, and a tough series. They have that 3-game series in Milwaukee against the Brewers.
Brewers may have clinched.
That's possible.
By then. That might be one of those series where Ron Renicky is just setting up his rotation and resting some regulars.
Yeah, Milwaukee right now with a 9.5 game lead over the Cardinals.
Pitch misses out. The one thing Milwaukee may be playing for at that point is home field advantage. The Phillies have a 90 and 48 record. Milwaukee is 85 and 58. So they're still a good distance away from the Phillies.
So the Phillies, the first team to 90 wins. They got that 90th win last night, thanks to Raul Ibanez and Vance Worley beating Atlanta.
Don't give up on Raul Ibanez yet. I think there's still some life left in that bat.
Hey, he was 3 for 4, 3 RBIs.
And misses down low. This is the area that the Marlins have seen that is of concern on a Brad Hand start, and that is all of a sudden a couple of walks, especially to guys like Reyes and Tejada, and that brings up the big lumber in Duda, Wright, and Pagan.
Well, probably the 2 fastest guys in the lineup, Reyes and Tejada, reached on walks.
Some rain starting to fall in the ballpark. You see fans scurrying for cover. Hand drops in a breaking ball for a strike. Another breaking ball. That one in a good location.
I'm sure up in Chaska, Minnesota, Brad Hand pitched some games in the rain. Probably a little colder. Hey, got to put the arm through the. Get the hood. You got to turn. Yeah. Okay.
The ones that are clear are a little harder.
There you go.
Because, you know, all you see is light. You just, you know, the ones that are solid, it's a little easier.
A well-prepared fan.
Were any armholes there, or just a poncho? It's like a Disneyland or a Disney World poncho. Oh, 2. Another breaking ball. He tripled up on it, and Peterson scurries back, makes the catch deep in center field. Mets at the corners now.
Yeah, Reyes was able to tag up that ball deep enough. Tejada went about halfway.
So it's David Wright with some thunder rumbling around this place. It's funny, as we get closer and closer to closing day, people keep asking, and they've started asking about a month ago, what are you going to miss from this place? And the closer we get to closing day, the more I realize not much.
Yeah, when we see the raindrops and have the delays, you're just reminded a little bit more.
Watch outfielders struggle on a warning track that's patched together with rubber mats. Two-0 pitch. Wright got tied up. Shallow fly. Infante calls and makes a nice play in front of Peterson. So Brad Hand gets out of it. Marlins still trail, though, 1-0.
Go to the bottom of the third with the Mets leading by the score of 1-0. Of course, it was a late night here last night, late start with the rain, and then into the wee hours with extra innings, and Jack McKeon wound up doing an old-fashioned thing. He slept in his office.
Made my first appearance in the clubhouse. I didn't leave the park. I love this game so bad.
You slept in your office?
I slept in my office, yeah, last night I did, yeah. Yeah, by the time, you know, I'm generally out here at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'm already here. No maids coming knocking on the door, trying to make your bed up.
Comfortable?
Oh, yeah, it was very nice. Yeah, nice and cool, air conditioned. First time I've done it in a long time.
And I asked Jack what to do for food. He said, hey, I went right to the kitchen, made himself a nice meal, and had a nice area to just enjoy to himself. Plus the satellite TV in the office, it made sense for him to stay here. And he was ready to go, as always, bright and early today after a real late night for all of us last night. Guys?
That actually doesn't sound half bad. I mean, with the big flat screen TV, and he's got
the availability of the kitchen.
The kitchen, he can shower up. If Jack wanted to jump in the whirlpool, he could do that.
A lot of amenities in a big league clubhouse. So good choice by Jack.
Top of the order, Bonifacio, Infante, and Morrison against R.A. Dickey here in the bottom of the third inning. And a nasty knuckler. Bonifacio 0 for 2. Infante coming up. As we count down the final days in this big old stadium, get closer to that gorgeous ballpark. The New Marlins Ballpark, state-of-the-art venue, unlike any other. It's got a retractable roof, of course, air-conditioned comfort, all overlooking downtown Miami. New Marlins Ballpark opening next spring. You can call 1-877-411-2012 or go to marlins.com. Infante, we told you, is a guy that has hit R.A. Dickey quite well in his career. And he hit a line drive single to left field back in the first. And Dickey buzzes him in. 11 for 20 in his career now against R.A. Dickey. And Infante, a .345 hitter in his career against the Mets.
Throwing fastballs. He probably thought, well, he's hit by knuckleball. Let me just throw him some fastballs. Had an interesting conversation with R.A. Dickey about the knuckleball process and how it all started. He started about 2005. He was with Texas. His pitching coach was Oral Hershiser. They went on a trip. They were out west and they were in Anaheim. And Hershiser, with his ties with the Dodgers, contacted Charlie Huff.
That ground ball gets under Wright's glove. Going to his left. And I think that'll be an error on David Wright.
Yeah, it will be. And Hershiser thought it would be a good idea to put those two together. And Charlie Huff came out to Anaheim Stadium. That ball staying down. Wright charged with an error. They spent about 90 minutes in the bullpen, just going over the knuckleball, talking about the things. He tweaked one little grip that he had on it. So it was a good meeting and kind of put together by Oral Hershiser, his pitching coach.
As we pointed out, kind of a necessity with the medical condition of that right elbow of Dickey's. It cost him a lot of money. Once the Texas team doctor spotted it, his signing bonus went down considerably. But he still was good enough to get himself to the big leagues with the Rangers.
He said that bad elbow didn't bother him all that much in college, the University of Tennessee. In a regional game, he threw 160 pitches one time.
Yeah, well, that was the surprise. I mean, the reaction from the Ranger officials and even Dickey himself is, you got to be kidding me that he didn't have that the ligament that 99% of the people walking around have, especially guys that are pitching and pitching that well in college. Morrison fouls it back. Lomo walked back in the first. Climbs back in with the count 2-1.
I think to his credit, R.A. Dickey's, and his ability as an athlete. I mean, just because you're making a transition, every young pitcher that's ever gone to a Tom Candiotti or a Charlie Huff doesn't make it to the big leagues throwing a knuckleball.
Morrison hammers it. Those guys, too, I would expect, have to get a lot of pitchers on their way down, guys that can't quite make it in the big leagues, calling them up and asking them, hey, can you teach me the knuckleball?
And I've told the story a number of times. I remember being with Charlie Huff in the instructional league in the 60s, late 60s, when he was making that transition.
Who was his guy?
It was actually an old infield and catching instructor by the name of Goldie Holt.
That one rolls up to Hada's arm, and everybody is safe. He was concerned with Infante, and the Mets have made 2 infield errors, and the Marlins have runners at first and second, 1 out.
Yeah, it was a good job by Infante just to kind of get close. He's going to make sure he doesn't get tagged, and I think that's what Tejada wanted to do, catch it and then tag Infante. But the old saying, you've got to catch the ball first. Tejada didn't do that.
So Huff didn't have a Wilbur Wood or Hoyt Wilhelm?
There's more to the story.
Mets have had their problems catching the ball this year.
After the instructional league, Tommy Lasorda, who was managing the AAA team in Spokane, said, give me Charlie Huff. I'm going to pitch him every other day and pitch him a lot. Started him, brought him out of the bullpen so he could throw as many knuckleballs as possible. And about halfway through the season, the Dodgers signed Hoyt Wilhelm to come to Spokane and work with Charlie. But the irony of that story, Hoyt Wilhelm comes, starts working with Charlie, starts throwing the knuckleball. Throwing it so well, they put him in games.
I was about to say they signed him.
He starts pitching so well, the Dodgers called him up. And so Huff goes, I'm learning the knuckleball, and they called up Hoyt Wilhelm. And he had to be 47, 48 years old at the time.
That's a great story. Runner goes, Infante is caught, and in a rundown, avoids a tag, but is finally tagged out. Infante apparently felt he could get a good enough jump or read Dickey's rhythm to the plate, but he figured wrong.
And watch how calmly Dickey just steps off. Easy throw to third. Wright starts chasing Infante back, and somehow Tejada misses the tag. But the final tag is put on by Reyes, so it goes 1-5-4-6.
So Gabby is left at the plate. Here's the 0-1. Remember, Dickey had that move. If you want to call it tricky, you can. When he picked Mike Cameron off up in New York on a where he barely lifted his foot off the rubber and kind of contorted his body and spun and picked him off.
So we've documented he has a quick move to first, and we know he has a great move to second.
Gabby is coming out of his shoes right now trying to get a hold of one of these knuckleballs.
I'm just looking. In 1971, Hoyt Wilhelm came up to the Dodgers and in 9 games had an ERA of 1.02 and was 48 years old.
Counts 2-2. Well, Dickey has been, I don't want to say a lifesaver because, you know, the Mets are 2 games under. But he's made 28 starts. He's eaten up 180 innings. He deserves a better fate. He's pitched better than his 7-11 record. His ERA is just 3.60. And just like Lasorda, for a manager like Terry Collins, you know you can throw him in there every 5 days. Knuckleballers rarely have arm issues. And he walks Gabby Sanchez.
Well, I know, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk to Charlie about this on that final homestand if he's in town, but he gives Lasorda a lot of credit for having confidence in him and sending him out there a lot to learn how to throw the knuckleball.
Peterson now. He drives one to right, hits it pretty well. Duda back, and he makes the catch. Peterson has hit it hard twice in this ball game. Still 1-0. For this evening's ball game, a win tonight will capture the 2011 series and give the Marlins their third straight season series win against the Mets. But they're going to have to solve the knuckleballs of R.A. Dickey. Have a little better fortune than that liner off the bat of Brian Peterson.
Push that glove in.
Kids are really eating.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's well, early dinner. Nah, it's regular dinner time here, 6 o'clock.
It's not a bad place to have dinner at the ballpark. Angel Pagan, Jason Bay, Nick Evans. First pitch in the air. And that's Peterson out there. Brian makes the catch. AT&T is with us every fourth inning. We always flip the phone. Let's see what we got. All-time Sun Life Stadium. Who holds the rookie record for hits in a season? All-time Mets. Rookie record.
So all-time Met rookies.
Right.
Most hits here. That's tricky. That's kind of tricky. You got to think Reyes. You got to think Wright.
You just got the double buzzer.
Hey, by the way, in our final thought on Charlie Huff, it was always so special. I know in talking to him over the years, for him to throw out that first pitch here, having been born in Hialeah, grew up in Miami.
Infante in shallow right, and he makes the catch.
Number 6, first baseman, Evans.
Here is Evans now. So Mets rookie, you got the the whammy, so to speak.
I did.
Yeah, Wright
that was a
and Reyes.
fast buzzer.
What era of Mets? Could we go back to Craig Minervini's youth? The early 70s?
No, it's at this ballpark.
Oh, excuse me. That's right.
So you're starting to do like I do, not read the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was a late night last night. Nice of Preston Wilson to stop by, though. Counts 1-1 to Evans. Thank you. Hand delivers. And it's in.
The other thing that Brad Hand has been able to do this year, he's been able to start a lot of games. He had 18 starts in Double-A. He was 11-4 with a nice 3.40 ERA for Jacksonville.
Another ball in the air, and Bonifacio is in there and makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning, just 8 pitches for Brad Hand in a 1-0 game. Fox Sports Florida brought to you by Florida Power and Light. FPL working to make its system stronger, smarter, cleaner, even more efficient. Visit FPLConnect.com to learn more. The all-new Chevy Cruze. See your local Chevrolet dealer. And by El Dorado. Shop online. Visit ElDoradoFurniture.com. You can see the rain in the area. Hopefully it's not headed in this direction. 1-0. R.A. Dickey and the Mets on top. Now we have that question about, in this stadium, who holds the all-time Mets record for rookies and hits in a season. And figured we go to Craig Minervini for that. Craig, you got any ideas?
Rich, I'm sorry. Somebody was just yapping at me. I'm trying to listen to you. You were talking about the trivia question?
Yes.
All right, give me that again.
The Mets...
Yes.
All-time rookie hits leader at Sun Life. So who
wow,
had the
that's
big...
a good. So who had a great rookie year and obviously played since '93?
Tommy already got the buzzer on Reyes or Wright.
Think about this one. I'm thinking one of those middle infielders in the '90s.
Buck hits that one to center. Pagan races over and makes a nice play. Angel Pagan certainly can go get him with the best of them. And he showed it there. It's hard because, the Mets didn't break in a lot of rookies, and they haven't over that span.
No.
They've generally been a veteran ball club.
Right. You're trying to think of a guy who came up and hit for average, probably, not only here but other places.
Probably,
most likely.
It's probably going to be somebody, when we see the name, we're going to go, oh,
yeah,
come on. Oh, we're going to get a hint here.
Noted Marlin killer.
Oh, this person's a noted Marlin killer.
How about Ty Wigginton?
That's a great one.
It was Wiggy. That was an easy hint. That's right. Wiggy broke in with the Mets. And he has such a great career average at Sun Life. We should have had that long ago. Dominguez is up. He drilled one into center field for a base hit, his first big league hit.
Had 18 doubles this year in AAA. One of the things that we saw when we saw Matt a lot in the spring, very quiet at the plate. Quiet, and then he throws his hands. He's got very quick hands.
It has a little Aaron Rowan-like in his stance as well. He kind of leans back. He's off the plate a good deal. He doesn't crowd the plate. Just to back up the trivia answer, 13 hits in 2004 in 10 games. Wigginton now with the Colorado Rockies. Donnie Murphy looking for his first hit in a while. And Dickey misses outside. Murphy struck out with 2 on in the second. So he's got a streak of 3 at-bats with 2 runners on. And he has struck out in all 3 of those at-bats.
Kind of streaks you like to try to forget.
Or end.
Now, Rich, to go along with what you were saying about Ty Wigginton, his career in this ballpark, 333, 7 home runs, 10 doubles, 34 hits, and 102 trips to the plate.
There's Murphy into left center field, and that one's going to get in there. One hops the wall. Donnie Murphy around first, pulls into second with a double. So that has to feel good for Donnie Murphy.
He got the fastball that time from Robert Allen Dickey and just hammers it, hit it well. So he didn't have to deal with the knuckleball. And that snaps. Of course, it goes over a period of months. And 0 for 24 for Donnie Murphy. And it's our checkers, double of the game.
Murphy in the 8th spot. That means Brad Hand is up here in the 4th. Hand goes after a high knuckleball. It's 0-1. A chopper right comes in, has it, and just gets the out at first as Dickey slid by him on the slick grass. Marlins leave another in scoring position and trail it 1-0. Mets on top. The Marlins have 4 hits. The Mets have just 2. And the Mets have committed a couple of errors. Please join Fox Sports Florida this Sunday at 12:57 p.m., a few minutes before the Marlins and Pirates pregame show, for a special September 11th tribute honoring our nation. It'll feature a short video as well as a moment of silence and a national anthem from the Chicago Falcons NFL game. Tune in for the very special September 11th tribute Sunday at 12:57 right here on Fox Sports Florida. So right before Marlins Live, the Marlins will be in Pittsburgh, and of course Pittsburgh close to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where one of the planes tragically went down. Mike Nickius. And Brad Hand catches the inside corner with a fastball. Hand has thrown just 58 pitches.
He's done a nice job. You know, he had that little bump in the road in the 3rd inning after 1 out. He walked Reyes and Tejada. But after that, good change up there. He's been able to get ahead. He's tied up a lot of the hitters, got some lazy fly balls.
The longest outing inning-wise in his career is the ball game that he won against Houston. He went 7 innings, 2 hits, and did not give up a run. Went 106 pitches in that game. Pretty good pitch. Toyota Pitch Track says Kerwin Danley was all over it.
He was right on it.
It was out.
He had that nice 6-inning outing Brad Hand did in his Major League debut against the Braves.
His highest pitch total, 114 pitches. That was in the loss to the Braves. An 8-5 loss back on the 8th of August. This is his 2nd start in September. Lost to the Phillies his last time out. He lasted just 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. So in a season like this, where the Marlins, with that awful June, kind of took themselves out of the race, as you put it, the outset of the telecast, this is an audition for a guy like Brad Hand.
And I think what you want to see in Brad is improvement. You want to see progress in each of his starts, and I think so far tonight we've seen that. He's done a nice job. The only run coming in the 1st inning.
Trying to describe him to Keith Hernandez, who was doing his scouting report for the game. And you know, one of the things you say is he's tough to pick up. He's tough to hit. When you look at his batting average against, just .236. He's only given up 2 hits in 4 innings here. So guys don't barrel up a lot of balls against him.
And I think psychologically, when he gets that in his head, that if I throw strikes with the stuff that I have, it's not overpowering stuff, but it's stuff that can get Major League hitters out. We see pitchers that throw like that all the time.
Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Lucas Duda right now has given the Mets the edge. You too can keep your edge. Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Not the only run of the ball game, that Lucas Duda double. And there's the obligatory Keith Hernandez shot.
Talking about Brad Hand, that'll be the last time you see that shot here in this ballpark.
All right, Dickey. Drops down the bunt. John Buck trailing him up the line makes the play. And so the Mets turn a leadoff walk into a runner at 2nd and 1 out, and Reyes and Tejada will have a shot to drive in that run.
They had a great note in the Marlins notes that longtime Vice President of Media Relations Jay Horowitz of the Mets has seen every Met game in this ballpark. So this is the 146th Met game that he's seen the Marlins play. He's seen the games at Joe Robbie, at Pro Player, at Dolphins, at Dolphin, at Landshark, and now Sun Life.
That's right. It was at one time Dolphins Stadium. and then it was changed to Dolphin. And who knows, there may be a few more incarnations after the Marlins leave for their ballpark. And the Marlins ballpark has yet to be named. Marlins hopeful to announce a long-term naming rights deal soon.
So the winningest Met pitcher in this ballpark for the Mets, Al Leiter. And Carlos Beltran hit the most Met home runs in this ballpark.
You and I have seen a lot of those.
Unfortunately.
Much like Jay Horowitz. Here's the 1-1. That's outside. 2-1. In the National League tonight, Arizona's back at Colorado and the Giants are back in San Diego. The Giants picked up a game in the West with a win last night. Arizona losing to Colorado, gave up 6 runs, I want to say in the 8th inning, and blew a lead, which happens in Colorado. So it's a 6-game lead in the West. Milwaukee's lead is 9.5. Philly is at 9.5, and the Braves lead in the wild card is 7.5 over both the Giants and the Cardinals.
So really, right now, the closest race is in that American League West, Texas and Los Angeles Angels.
It's kind of been stuck at 3.5 games for a while, with the Angels behind the Rangers. Reyes walks for the 2nd time. Randy St. Clair out for the 1st time. And we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
You know, I was looking at this because there's always a race to watch, excitement this time of year, almost all the time, especially since the wild card came in '95. This is historic, though. If you look at 8 playoff spots, including the wild cards in both leagues, this year there's really only one race that's up for grabs. We call it a virtual lock. That's a 6-game lead or better, and the only one that doesn't have that in terms of getting a spot is the West. Of course, the AL East is up for grabs, but both of those teams are virtual locks to make the playoffs. And there's only been a few times there's been even the 6 teams, 98, 5 teams a couple of times. The average is just a little over 3, where you usually have 4 spots up for grabs. Somebody's not going to get in, and unfortunately that has not been the case this year. The Braves are the commanding lead in the wild card and big leads in all of the divisions in the National League. Only one other time has all 4 spots been locked up, and that was in 2001 in the American League on this date. Now, we say locked up, and then, as Jeff Conine pointed out, hey, the Mets blew a 7-plus game lead with 17 to go only a few years ago. So it doesn't mean you're going to win. It just means it takes away a little of that pennant excitement that you like to watch in games in September.
Yeah, and we were there for that in Shea Stadium to see the final. Was it a Tom Glavine start?
Mm-hmm.
Against Dontrelle Willis. Willis didn't last long in that ball game, but the Marlins scored a ton off of Glavine. Morrison is over to make the catch. That was the first of 2 final days in which the Marlins would end at Shea Stadium. The Marlins played the last game at Shea Stadium in 2008 and won that ball game as well. I think it was a 4-2 score. Dan Uggla and Wes Helms went back-to-back home runs, and the Mets lost the wild card to Milwaukee. Does that sound right?
Everything sounded right until you got to Milwaukee, but I think so.
Yeah, because I think that was the irony of Wes Helms hitting the home run. He was a former Brewer.
Former Brewer. Yeah, you are right. It was Milwaukee.
Lucas Duda takes inside. Duda a double to drive in the only run of the game, and he's flied out. Angels play Seattle tonight. Rangers have lost today 5-4 in 10 innings to the Rays. There's an Alex Sanabia sighting. He gets loose in the bullpen. It's great to see him back up on the mound and pitching. He had elbow issues in spring training that carried through into the regular season. The Marlins really missed him.
He would have gotten lots of opportunities.
Yes. He pitched well tail end of last year when he got an opportunity.
Alex Sanabia missed a good part of this year with the elbow strain.
Yeah, money.
2-1. Brad Hand's pitch count up at 78 here in the 5th. Marlins down 1-0 to the Mets. Marlins have had their opportunities. The Mets have had a couple of innings what could have been bigger. And Hand gets another pop-up. Morrison in, and he makes the catch. So nicely done. Brad Hand strands 2 more. Still 1-0 in the Subway 5th. Season, you can take advantage of the new Marlins single game suite rentals. You've only got 6 more opportunities to do this. Padded premium seats. I like my premium seats padded. Flat screen TVs, air conditioning, and access to club level amenities. Perfect choice. And you got the Braves series and the Nationals series. And you can sing along with that pair as well. 305-626-SAVE or go to marlins.com/groups. R.A. Dickey now gets the top of the order for the 3rd time. Emilio Bonifacio, Omar Infante, and Logan Morrison.
Very typical of R.A. Dickey. Not a whole lot of balls really hit hard. You know, you get that barrel squared up, you get ready to take a good swing, and all of a sudden the ball just darts in another direction.
Bonifacio lined out and struck out. And you know, the other thing is you sit up there and you wait for a knuckleball that you think you can drive, and you don't get it, and it's 0-2. Bill Tapper out towards short. Bonifacio racing to first. Out at first. Very close. Paul Nauert on the call.
Well, R.A. Dickey can thank the strong arm of Jose Reyes for making that play.
And the acrobatics of Nick Evans.
Yeah, I want to see if Evans stretched out too soon and then it reached the other way, but was able to hang on and stay on the bag. Just getting, and he picked it too. A ball short hopped him a little bit.
Now Infante, as the sun makes an appearance on this overcast, drizzly day. Jason Bay doesn't have to deal with it, and he makes the catch.
Number 20.
Phillies have Logan Morrison coming to the plate. He's reached twice on an error, and he's walked.
Boy, last year, R.A. Dickey, 11-9, but he started the year in Buffalo. AAA went 4-2 there, but threw a one-hitter last year against the Phillies.
Some milestones reached today. Justin Verlander picked up win number 22 with some help from a Victor Martinez grand slam. And the Rays won their 1,000th game in franchise history. A Desmond Jennings walk-off homer. Bottom of the 10th inning to beat the Rangers. The Nationals and the Dodgers will join the growing number of teams that are going to be into a doubleheader. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. They were rained out today.
Just going back to that Tiger game, another fantastic year for Miguel Cabrera. He had a couple of hits. He's hitting .332.
Morrison's ground ball. Evans has it. R.A. Dickey goes 1-2-3 through the fish. 8-pitch inning for R.A. Dickey. For the Fish, Brad Hand has pitched well. R.A. Dickey just a little bit better. And Hand is out there for the 6th. David Wright, Angel Pagan, and Jason Bay coming up. Our Chevy National League East standings. No real drama or suspense at the top.
No drum roll necessary.
No standings apparently either. Here's the pitch to Wright. Takes a breaking ball.
Because we didn't have the drum roll, I guess.
There it is. Brought to you by Chevrolet. Atlanta's 9.5 back. We told you earlier that the Phillies protest of the play. There's Dominguez getting his first ground ball in the big league.
It's interesting because you're starting for the first time in the major leagues. You kind of like to get everything out of the way.
You got the first hit.
You got the hit out of the way. But he's had to wait until the 6th inning to get a ground ball, and it wasn't an easy hop, and this isn't the smoothest of infields. And he made it look nice.
And of course, his reputation is as a Gold Glove caliber guy already. Anyways, the Phillies' protest of the interference play on Sunday has been disallowed by Major League Baseball, or I guess denied is a better term. And just in reading the story, the last time a protest was upheld,
is that the Pirate rainout?
1986.
Yeah, I believe it was a game. I've heard the story. I was reading the other day. I believe it was a game in Pittsburgh that was called because of rain, but the Pirates protested because they felt it was called too soon.
Cardinals and Pirates from '86. Protest upheld and a game restarted. Doesn't have any of the details, but I suspect that you're correct. But it's amazing that it's been since 1986, the last time a protest.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the rule is now, but I think you had to wait an hour and 15 minutes the first time, and then the second delay had to be so much time, and the umpires didn't do that. And so because of that, the Pirates protested, and they later played the game, and they lost anyway.
Is the 1-2. And Hand just misses. 2-2, and you can see it was just outside the strike zone. A lot of balls in the air against Brad Hand, and not many of them have been hit squarely. A lot of pop-ups, a lot of soft fly balls to the outfield.
Yeah, that tells you a couple of things. You were pointing out earlier, he's a little tough to pick up. Guys aren't, getting the barrel out. He's moved his fastball in. He's fooling guys when he gets that changeup over.
He's trying to get 6 solid innings in the books. Here comes Jason Bay. And Hand isn't due up immediately in the 6th inning, so Marlins might be able to get another couple innings out of him, especially if he keeps pitching like this. He's only at 87 pitches. He's fallen behind Bay now, 2-1.
You'll remember that tough loss he had in his Major League debut, giving up 1 hit and 1 run in 6 innings. He lost 1-0. A few of the Marlins pitchers have dealt with that. Chris Volstad threw 6 very good innings last night and gave up just a couple of runs, but ended up with the no decision.
Bay hit it hard. Morrison, it's over his head. Off the wall, and Bay is there. That one, I think, fooled Morrison off the bat, though I'm not sure a cleaner break or turn, and he has it. Let's take a look.
He's not going to catch this ball. I don't think any left fielder is. He just right here says, okay, it's over my head. I'm going to try to play the carom off the wall. But a ball hit hard right over his head. I don't think he had any chance.
2-out double for Bay. Here's Evans. But when he came up last night with a runner in scoring position in a tie game, and it happened 3 times, he drove in the run. All with base hits.
I think you could say for a guy like Nick Evans, he's got nothing to lose. He's been designated for assignment 2 or 3 times this year by the Mets.
Hits this one to deep right field. Bonifacio has it against the wall. Running and lunging at the same time, and it almost popped out of his glove. But once he ran into the State Farm sign, he was okay. Cookie and Joe doing the job over on Spanish language television. Hi, guys.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Richie, how are you?
Hey, Cookie, who were some of the knuckleball guys you faced?
Well, I faced, for example, Wilhelm. I faced Necro. Who else?
Wilbur Wood?
Wilbur Wood with the White Sox in Detroit. Yeah, absolutely.
Wilbur Wood was the only left-handed knuckleballer, I think.
I think so, as far as I can remember, yeah. Most of them are right-handed knuckleball throwers. I'll tell you what, the knuckleball is the kind of pitch that you have to try to hit back to the middle. If you try to pull it, it's difficult to stay with that thing that is like a butterfly coming at home plate.
Hey, isn't it fun to watch Bonifacio? It doesn't matter where you put him, and he comes up with a great catch.
No question.
That was a thing of beauty, that play.
Yes, it was. Absolutely. He's right into it. He's done a great job this year playing all over the place, and at the same time, maintaining the rhythm in his hitting. He's improved tremendously. He's hitting 290 now, and this kid is going to be awesome, I think.
I think a guy like Bonifacio, Rich, and Cookie and Joe, I think a guy like Bonifacio is a guy you root for, too, because you saw him when he was learning things, and you've seen him progress.
Absolutely. Not only that, too, Tommy, but the fact is that he gives 150% every single day he's in between the lines. And you admire the player that gives you that kind of effort consistently like Bonifacio had done.
He's been a feel-good story all season long.
Yes, he has.
Gabby Sanchez is aboard. All right, guys, have a good show.
Hey, a leadoff walk. That's a feel-good story.
There we go. See? Let's score that guy.
All right. Coors Light 6th inning. Let's freeze something. The Coors Light freeze cam. First hit for Matt Dominguez. Head right on it. The Frost Brewed Coors Light freeze cam. And they got the baseball in a big moment. And as we talked about, his folks flew in. Coming in from California, some family, to watch his Major League debut last night. And in this ball game, Dominguez is 1 for 2.
Let's bring him on to Pittsburgh.
I tell you, Brian Peterson has probably hit 2 of the harder balls against R.A. Dickey with his single up the middle in the 2nd inning. And then he hit a line smash with 2 men on and 2 out in the 3rd, and Lucas Duda made the catch. Steve Cishek up in the bullpen. Peterson swings and fouls it back. Brad Hand is due up 6th this inning.
We saw last inning, we saw Alex Sanabia throwing, maybe just to get some work. And I would imagine, especially with the road trip upcoming, the doubleheader in Philadelphia, he will get some action.
I think so. I think Atlanta might be a spot for him. And Brad Hand's next start might just be against the Phillies on that doubleheader Thursday. And in a game like this, Tommy, when you've got an extra starter like Sanabia and a youngster like Hand, you'll keep that starter in the pen ready in case something goes haywire in the first couple of innings. And you need starter B. And once the starter gets past the 5th or the 6th inning, then you let that guy throw what is essentially a bullpen session of 40, 50, 60 pitches just to keep the arm strength and stay sharp. 2-2. Peterson at chopper is going to lead Reyes right to the bag, and he's going to double him up.
And with Peterson's speed, that's about the only way they're going to get that routine double play.
So R.A. Dickey keeps the line moving.
Reyes cheated a little bit toward the bag. The ball went right at the bag, and he made that look easy.
Buck takes outside. John is flied to right, flied to center. 2-0. Dickey's pitch count at 92. Does pitch count for a knuckleballer mean as much for a standard pitcher?
Not as much. And if Terry Collins holds to what he was talking about before the game, it'll be an interesting decision for him, because he was talking to a lot of the Mets reporters and was mentioning that he didn't want to use Isringhausen or Parnell in this game today. Those are the two guys he's been using a lot in the 8th and 9th innings. Of course, he's thinking ahead. They have that doubleheader tomorrow night against Atlanta.
Wow, man, that one just danced right over the outside corner. Buck kind of saying to himself, there's no chance to hit that pitch. Watch this thing. Whoa. You can't lose the binky. Looks like nap time has already hit here in the 7th. And that's it for Brad Hand. Steve Cishek comes out of the pen. And Hand, who pitched 6 very good innings, gives way to Cishek. The Mets are at the 8-9-1 spot in their order. Cishek, who came in, I don't have the time-coded inning log, so I'm not sure if he came in last night or this morning. But I know that he did come into the ball game. Walked a man with the bases loaded, and then struck out David Wright. Mike Dunn is up. So Nickius up first. He's flied out and walked. Runs have been tough to come by in this ball game. That's because Brad Hand was good. R.A. Dickey a little better. Mets have just 3 hits. Marlins have 4. Both teams have left 6 on base.
And as you watch Steve Cishek, again, you've seen progress. You've seen a guy come up and handle different roles from the first time he got here. And as you look at his improvement, you look at him to improve his fielding. That's sort of number one thing he has to start. More on his throws.
Into right field, Nickius with a base hit. So it's the second time that Nickius has been on in front of R.A. Dickey. Dickey dropped down a successful sacrifice in the 5th. you would expect a repeat of that.
Good luck, Dickie.
He's talking to Buck right now about that pitch.
I think he just said that's the best one I've thrown
yeah.
either today or all month.
Because I know John Buck said something to him first. That was funny. A couple of tremendous competitors.
Good luck, Dickie.
See, look at Buck's laughing.
Dickey pulls it back. Murphy got tied up with the umpire, it looked like, but there was no one at second with the bunt play on. Murphy's only chance was to field that ball and to get to second. And it almost looked like he got tangled up with Doug Eddings out there.
Yeah, with the bunt play on and Gabby charging, Infante has to be over near first. Now, I don't know if he could have gotten to second. He was still a little far away from the bag, and his only play was to first. But in essence, it turns out like a sacrifice anyway.
Now Cishek goes after Reyes and Tejada. Reyes has walked twice and singled.
Out the strike.
Jan Lexus presents leaders of the game. Reyes at 335, Ryan Braun at 333. And some distance between the 2 spot and the 3 spot with Matt Kemp sitting at 319.
Ryan Braun later tonight will have to deal with Chris Carpenter. Brewers are in St. Louis.
Cishek almost hits Reyes, and that changes the whole at bat now, because with 1 out, Marlins are probably going to have to bring their infield in.
Yeah, with the way things have gone and attempts at scoring and not having a whole lot of success, you certainly have to play the infield in here. That'll be a good matchup in St. Louis tonight. Zach Greinke goes for his 15th win against Chris Carpenter.
Reyes fouls it back, counts 1 and 2. Infield is drawn in. Nicky is at third with 1 out. Bouncer, runner holds. Gabby flips, and Cishek beats Reyes to the bag.
Keep in mind, Nicky is a catcher, doesn't have a whole lot of speed. So in that instance, he was not going to the plate. And a good job by Cishek to get over to first base and get the feed from Gabby. Cishek over there in a hurry, and he had to be with Reyes the runner.
Now Tejada takes inside. Twice he has flied to left and he's walked. Cishek trying to keep it at 1-0. Dominguez backhands, fires across, nice play. So he's handled a couple chances flawlessly at third. Steve Cishek keeps it 1-0. The knuckleball has been dancing. Those are his numbers: 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and just 4 hits in 6 innings of work. You can present your Miccosukee Ultimate Reward Players Club card at the stadium box office starting 2 hours prior to any Marlins home game. Get a $10 discount on up to 8 infield box seats. Offer cannot be combined and is subject to availability. Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Get in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting with R.A. Dickey, and it's still just a 1-0 game, so he only has a 1-run lead. That's kind of been the MO. I mean, in the month of August, Dickey had an ERA of 2.70 in 5 starts, but he was 1-2. So he hasn't gotten a whole lot of support this year. Came into the game 7-11, his record, with a 3.60 ERA.
Dominguez, Donnie Murphy, and in the pitcher spot, the Marlins have a variety of pinch hitting options, Mike Stanton being one of those. Dominguez takes up. Ball and a strike.
You got Baker, you got Greg Dobbs.
Mets have a lefty and a righty going in the pen.
That's a ball.
But the location of the knuckleballs have been terrific as well for Dickey. That pitch that he just had as a called strike, the one that he got Buck on. They seem to be dancing to the outside part of the plate.
Here you go, Matt.
Daniel Herrera, the lefty. Igarashi, the right-hander. Dominguez, a chopper to right, sets himself and throws him out.
Yeah, the other thing that Matt Dominguez will always remember, he'll remember and never forget his first hit. He'll remember his first start as a major leaguer was against a knuckleball.
You know, another thing that he probably will remember is that his first start was against the Mets, and David Wright was playing third base, the position that he occupied. I would expect growing up that Wright was probably one of the guys that Dominguez admired.
You usually follow and watch guys who play the position you do.
And Wright has been one of the premium third basemen in the game ever since he arrived with the Mets. Wright has won a couple of Gold Gloves. Some feel that that may be in Dominguez's future as well. Backing up, quick flip. Impressive play.
That's a tough decision. You either charge or you back up on that play. And if you charge, you might get the short hop. If you back up, you might get the short hop. But once he picks this, because he's backed up, he has to get rid of it in a hurry. Look at the footwork and how quickly he unloads. And doing it with the tongue out as well. That's a trademark. But in Foxmo, either way, in regular speed or Foxmo, that's a nice play.
Jose Lopez gets the pinch hitting assignment. Little tapper up third, right. Handles that one as well. He gets all 3 of them in the 7th, and R.A. Dickey sails through the 7th into the 8th. We go 1-0. road trip. 11 games, 4 cities. Pittsburgh first. Great ballpark, lots of rivers. Atlanta will see Uggs and the rest of the Braves as they try to nail down the wild card. A quick stop in the city of brotherly love, the city of rain, the city of doubleheaders. Washington, D.C., where the road trip finishes. 3 games against Zim, Jason Worth, and the rest of the Nationals. Fox Sports Florida will be on the trip. 1-0 Mets. Mike Dunn getting ready to come in. Into the 8th, Lucas Duda will lead it off. What are you looking forward to most, Tommy Hutton, on the upcoming road trip? Is it that day-night doubleheader in Philadelphia?
Trying to decide whether to have a cheesesteak between games or go to Bull's Barbecue, Greg Luzinski's barbecue, and maybe have some nice barbecue. It's a big dilemma.
It is. Let's just hope it doesn't rain while we're there. Duda out to left. Morrison comes in and makes the catch. Because the Marlins have been rained out, what, 3 times in Philadelphia already?
Yeah, we will have made 4 trips to Philly and 4 to New York.
Jack McKeon has done get 1 hitter. And with Wright coming up and then the switch hitting Pagod, he's going to the bullpen, and Ryan Webb comes out. So, cue the music.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Rudy!
Down the 10 greatest moments in this ballpark or stadium's history for the Florida Marlins. We flash back. Tommy, you were here for this. Number 7, Louis Castillo's hit streak.
It was an exciting time. I mean, you had something to look forward to coming to the ballpark. Okay, when's Louis going to do it? Is it going to be the first time up? Is he going to have to wait till his last AB? It was a lot of fun.
We will continue the countdown until closing day. Obviously have that ball game for you on Fox Sports Florida. David Wright stands in. Closing day on September 28th. It's a 4:30 start. The ceremonies, and there are going to be lots of them. You expect some cameo appearances from Marlins past. Those will take place after the ball game. The number torn down today, and it's down to 6. Miami Search and Rescue doing the honors. So 6 games left in just a 2-3 game series. The Braves from the 19th through the 21st, and the Nationals from the 26th through the 28th. Marlins will travel on the road trip, as you just saw, to Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, and then make the one trip up to Milwaukee to visit our friends at the Pfister, see the Racing Sausages, Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder.
And always good to see old friend Craig Counsell, too. There's Josh Stinson, who came in and picked up a save, his first major league save in that wild one last night.
Webb's gone 2-2 to David Wright. Three and 2. Right out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Told me the other day, still goes back to Virginia, makes his home there in the offseason.
So Webb, who came in to face Wright, walks him. Now here's Pagan. Pagan in the ball game is 0 for 3. Wright has 10 stolen bases this year. And a lot of the games across the East Coast are breaking out and starting. Houston's at Pittsburgh. Atlanta and the Phillies are scoreless in the bottom of the first. The Padres on the West Coast have scored first against the Giants and have a 1-0 lead in the fourth. Boston up in Toronto, a 1-0 lead. That's top of the first. As Tommy pointed out, after a long night last night, the Orioles and Yankees were back at it, and of course they played extra innings today. Baltimore beat them 5-4. Speaking of Virginia, Mark Reynolds in the 11th inning had the game-winning hit. Another Virginia product.
Yeah, another one of the many out of that area. The Uptons, Ryan Zimmerman. There's always one or two we forget, though.
Michael Kadire.
Kadire, yeah.
Good one in there. That's a pretty good, that's the makings of a pretty good team right there. Wright is running, Pagan is swinging, and Fonte picks it and gets the out. So there are 2 outs. Wright's at second, and here comes Jason Bay. How many times do you think Mark Reynolds has struck out this year?
He's probably in the 160, 170 range, I would guess, as you're scrolling and scrolling.
I know I am. I'm efforting. Efforting. Loading page. Reynolds struck out 4 times today, so keep that in mind as I get to the strikeout totals in the American League. Bay takes a breaking ball down low. Billy the Marlin had a starring role in that last moment. The Louis Castillo sign.
Had the nice sign prepared, yeah.
Bay trying to check his swing. It clipped a piece of the bat. The hopper in the bullpen. .174.
Yeah, we were right in the range.
Adam Dunn is behind him at 158.
Wow, what a miserable year it's been for Adam Dunn. I mean, he's hitting in the 160, 170 range and has just never gotten out of a season-long slump. I was reading, a lot of people have talked about it's the first year he's ever really DH'd for a long time, and he's just had trouble adjusting to that.
Bay to left field. Morrison has it cleanly. Runner coming home. Here comes Lomo's throw. Right on the money. Out. Morrison throws out David Wright. Logan Morrison to John Buck. And it's still 1-0. And it would be 2-0 were it not for the throw from Logan Morrison, but a close play at the plate.
Yeah, very close. Kerwin Danley has to make a bang-bang call. Strong throw by Lomo. He times it well all the way in the air. It appears that Wright's foot's on the plate. Might have popped off the plate. It's hard to tell. And the tag applied in the midsection area. Let's see if that foot stays on the plate, or if it was on the plate, or if the tag was there when the foot finally touched home plate. He's not on the plate yet. It's not on the plate till there. So it becomes much closer when you see it from that angle. That's a close play.
That's bang bang.
Yeah.
And Kerwin Danley had a little different angle, and he had one look at it in real time. A terrific throw, though, by Logan Morrison. That's for sure. There's no debating that.
The first hit today by either team with runner in scoring position.
Bonifacio now drops down a bunt. It's a beauty, and he's going to beat it easily.
Boy, what a great job. Good idea. Great bunt. Puts the pressure on the Mets. A little slip by Stinson, the pitcher, but he wasn't going to make that play anyway. Yeah, the Mets are 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That hit by Bay was the one. And the Marlins are 0 for 5.
Josh Stinson's second appearance of the series. And he tries to complete what R.A. Dickey started. Dickey 7 very good innings. Infante's bunt. Oh, it took a weird hop and it stays fair. Evans. It took a strange hop and then hit Evans' foot and then kicked into fair territory. Fortunately for the Mets and unfortunately for the Marlins, it didn't bounce that far away.
At first, I'm not sure what Evans is thinking. It kicks, gets him on the foot, but he stays with it. And fortunately for him, as second baseman, Tejada's there. Omar, I think, is going to stop. I think he thinks this ball is going to go foul. Ah, okay. And now he sees the kick fair. But he got the job done. And Bonifacio, who picked up his 14th bunt hit, and his 38th infield hit, is at second.
So Logan Morrison climbs in. Morrison is 0 for 2 with a walk. Stinson drops in a breaking ball that just missed. Fox Tracks, brought to you by Toyota, shows that was a pretty good pitch and a good location. That's the pitch that has given Morrison some problems this year, is that fastball in on his hands. Tough to lay off.
Tough to lay off. It's a pitch that if you hit it fair, you really have to keep your hands inside the ball. If you roll over, you're going to hit it. Might hit it well, but you're going to pull it foul.
And a breaking ball in that same neighborhood. It's 1-2.
Logan Morrison with that terrific throw has 6 assists now on the year.
Certainly not a finished product in the left field, but getting better.
Getting better. And you know you're going to get the effort when he goes out there.
Ball in the dirt. Notice how Nikias now has a different glove behind the plate for Stinson than he did for the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, went to the more conventional catcher's mitt.
Gabby Sanchez on deck. Josh Stinson in relief of R.A. Dickey. Mets trying to take the series. Marlins trying to come back here in the bottom of the 8th. Fastball. Morrison just couldn't lay off it. It's 2-2. Last night the Marlins were down to their last out in the 9th when Mike Cameron stepped up and hit a dramatic 2-run double. That was against Bobby Parnell and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Daniel Herrera, little in stature, big in hair, down in the pen. Here's the 2-2. Now 3-2. Morrison climbs back in. Lomo has driven in 64 this year. Pulls that one to the right side. And Evans is there and it steps on the bag. And there's an example of what we were talking about, a pitch up and in. And as you pointed out, in most cases, you're going to roll over on that ball.
Yeah, that one got in on him. He got jammed on that one. Not as good a swing as a couple of balls he's hit foul.
But the Marlins find themselves in a familiar spot, both last night and tonight. And that's runner in scoring position, 2 outs. And Stinson goes to 1-0. Not a lot of hits on the scorecard for either team, 5 apiece. Jason Bay, the only player to have more than 1 hit. He's got a double and a single. Gabby fouls it back.
Yeah, we talked about how Gabby's had a terrific year against the Mets. Leo Nunez joining the hopper down there. 4 home runs this year against New York.
If Gary and Keith were compiling a all-Met killer team, I think that guy, Gabby Sanchez, and Omar Infante would be on the list.
They'd be on that list.
Bonifacio still waiting. Another 1-2. Nikia smothers it. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Travel day tomorrow, off to Pittsburgh. Friday night, Marlins and Pirates. Marlins' only trip into Pittsburgh this year. Ricky Nolasco and the Princeton whiz kid Ross Ollendorf. Saturday night game will not be on television.
Good fight, Danny. Good fight.
That went out of play. Anibal Sanchez slated to go in that one. The Pirates haven't announced their Saturday starter yet. Javi Vasquez looks for win number 10 on Sunday. He's pitched so well in the second half of the season. James McDonald, the hard-throwing right-hander, goes for the Pirates.
Javi Vasquez trying to make it 12 consecutive years of at least 10 wins.
He has been one of the best pitchers in baseball in the second half of the season. And he continues to be a question as to whether Vasquez will pitch in the big leagues next year or not. He continues to maintain. He is likely to retire. The 2-2. That's away. No swing. Full count.
Stenson tried to find that outside corner with a pretty good fastball, but Gabby laid off of it and he's off the plate.
Ryan Peterson's on deck. Josh Stinson with Bonifacio at third. Got him. Stayed outside. And Sanchez strikes out. And the Marlins continue to flounder with runners in scoring position.
All right, Rich, you've seen our list of top moments in this stadium. Here's one of my favorites back in 2003.
And he hits it in the air to center. Pierre going back. He's under it. And the Marlins have won the National League wild card.
The Marlins had trailed Philadelphia early in the week, but they whipped the Phillies 3 straight in this ballpark. The Phillies then had lost 5 straight. The Marlins won 6 straight, and they capped it off by beating these New York Mets September 27, 2003, 4-3, with a couple of games to go to clinch the wild card and send Jack McKeon and his crew on the playoffs where they would win the World Series. But what a great week that was. And that series prior to that against the Phillies, one of the more dramatic series they've ever had in this ballpark. The Marlins were down before the series and wound up snatching the wild card lead and eventually winning it next night against the Mets.
Yeah, there are plenty of memories here in this big stadium. Marlins 2 postseasons, 2 wild card winners, 2 World Series championships.
Craig, was it you and I doing dueling interviews down in the clubhouse after that game, I think?
Yes, we were, yeah.
I think we were both in there.
And
yeah.
you know, you can't beat those moments in the we don't get a chance to do it in the playoffs, obviously, but we did get a chance to do that. That was a lot of fun. Dodging all the champagne and the smoke that was flying around in the clubhouse. Got a chance to do that twice in this stadium, covering the 97 for the local TV station here, Channel 6.
Mike Nickius now. Kirk Badenhop in the ball game. Marlins on the mound have been pretty darn good in this one. Brad Hand for 6. Steve Cishek an inning. Mike Dunn and Ryan Webb tag teamed in the 8th. Badenhop here in the 9th. Nickius takes a strike. Willie Harris is on deck for the Mets.
Yeah, and it will not be Bobby Parnell or Isringhausen. Manny Acosta is going to try to close it out for the Mets.
Hopper catches the corner. It's 1-2. Nickius sprays it to the right side. And Gabby picks it up and steps on the bag. One of the twists this year for Major League Baseball is that the season actually ends midweek and the postseason starts on the Friday night. I believe the American League Division Series start the Friday night. The Marlins and everybody else finishes their schedule on Wednesday the 28th. That's closing day here. The National League Division Series start on the Saturday.
Well, they've tried to kind of condense things and take away so many off days in between. They've tried to tighten things up a little bit.
Oh, and 1. Yeah, like to avoid, at least Major League Baseball has said they would like to avoid, when one team clinches a series early and another series goes long, a team sitting around for a week and not playing any games. It's hard to keep your pitchers sharp, your hitters sharp. There's no way to simulate game conditions.
And either way, you're always going to have problems if a team clinches and wins 3 or 4 straight. But and another team takes it to the duration.
It just seems that in the last couple of years, that's been, I don't know, to the extreme, because oftentimes the team that clinches last, well, they'll have a day off late in that series when you're waiting for that series to hurry up and end. That one's a foul ball off the bat of Willie Harris.
I always thought it was strange, too. You would see scheduling. You would see a team play a night game and then come back with the day game. And then a team that hadn't played one game yet play that next night. And all of a sudden they have a team that's played 2 games before they've even played one.
And, you know, it's scary when you're playing in a 5-game series and in less than 24 hours, you could be up 2-0, you could be down 0-2. But I like the fact that they're starting the series on the weekend, Friday and Saturday.
And they're working on it.
Yes. Struck him out. Hopper comes in and gets Willie Harris. Manny Acosta will try to shut the door for the Mets. Marlins try to mount a comeback. Marlins baseball brought to you by Metro PCS. Android phones now available at Metro PCS. Plus, get unlimited nationwide service for just $50 a month. Metro PCS, wireless for all. By Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By Subway, eat fresh. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. Night falling in Miami. The Marlins are down 1-0 going to the bottom of the ninth. Manny Acosta is going to try to shut the door for the Mets. Acosta does not have a save this year.
Yeah, in his career, just 4 at the major league level.
Ryan Peterson takes a breaking ball for a strike.
See that pitch? He uses big curveball, fastball.
He certainly has the closer type stuff. Peterson takes a rip at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, fouls it back. It's 0-2. Tip of the cap to our many viewers who followed us last night on Twitter and on email. You kept the show going.
Had some great tweets and emails.
After a long rain delay and then a long game. Here's the 0-2. It's out.
The fans picked us up last night.
The fans picked us up in a big way.
We needed that.
Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball. Peterson stays alive. 6 more games in this football stadium. AP article today saying that the new ballpark on schedule, on budget, 80% complete. Many of the local media took a tour this morning. It's called strike. Danley and Peterson disagree.
You know, it's similar. I think Peterson thinks similar to the pitch that was close. It was called a ball.
Here's John Buck. We'll take a look at it. See if he had a beef. Yeah, he had a big beef. Look how far outside it is.
Yep, he had a big beef. Was number 3 the one that was called a ball? And that was in the same area.
That was
Yeah.
That was a better pitch than number 5. Number 5 was way out there.
Go, John Buck.
And so Buck climbs in.
John Buck.
Mike Stanton has climbed in the on-deck circle. Costa evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants have tied that game in San Diego, 1-1 in the 5th. Arizona and Colorado start later on tonight. That pitch, the Marlins got a break on. A strike there. It's 2-2.
Just looking back quickly, Rich, the last time the Marlins lost a 1-0 game was to Gio Gonzalez in Oakland.
The pride of Hialeah. And you wonder if Hialeah native Charlie Huff will be involved in the final pitch thrown here at this place, or maybe the first pitch thrown in the new place.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. You go a couple of ways with Charlie, and he'd be ready for either one.
There you go, John Buck.
He'd probably throw a pretty good knuckleball, too, still. 3-2. Did he go? Yes. And so Buck goes around, a pair of strikeouts.
Now let's see if he went. Yeah, to me, that's always a close one, but I think over the last 10 years or so, you've seen that called more.
So a couple of contentious strikeouts. And it's up to Stanton now if the Marlins want to keep playing baseball tonight. Stanton probably back in the lineup full-time Friday night in Pittsburgh. Goes after the first pitch. It's a fly ball to the right field side. Duda is over. Great catch there by Leo Nunez.
I think he called Duda off that ball, too.
He took a good route. It's not often you see a relief pitcher leap out and make a catch like that. And Nunez had just popped up the mound to warm up. So Acosta has a strike on Stanton. 1-1. Stanton's quest for the home run title put on hold almost this entire week after tweaking a hamstring this weekend. Trying to beat out a ground ball. 1-2.
I think if he gets back in the lineup, he's going to have to play a little bit under control, make sure he keeps that hamstring as healthy as possible, and then he needs to get into one of those streaks.
That was close. 2-2. Pitch number 4 on Toyota Fox Tracks. Albert Pujols at 34, Dan Ugg at 33, Stanton and Matt Kemp at 32, and Prince Fielder Ryan Howard in striking distance at 31. 2-2 coming to Mike Stanton. That's out. At 97.
Come on, Mike.
The Dauber on deck. 3-2. He was on the breaking ball enough to fight it off.
I think we've seen the progress in Mike as far as pitch selection, been much better.
Check swing, fouls it off. We said earlier that Brad Hand is a young 21. He turns 22 in March of next year. Stanton will turn 22 on the 8th of November.
So he's really a young 21.
Matt Dominguez just turned 22. Another 3-2. Stanton went after that outside fastball.
I don't know how this at-bat is going to end, but this has been a good at-bat for Mike Stanton.
8 pitches so far. Another 3-2. Oh, that hit him. I think it hit him in the hand. And Stanton is aboard.
It was some kind of off-speed pitch. It wasn't the fastball from Acosta. It was 86 miles an hour.
Kerwin Danley just checked with the first base umpire to see if he swung at the pitch, and obviously he did not.
No, he didn't swing. Terry Collins came out of the dugout a little bit, but once he saw that motion that he didn't swing, he popped back in. But a good at bat. That's a tough way to end it. He gets on base, but I thought Mike really had a good at bat there.
That's going to bring Dobbs up to the plate. He was a hero last night a couple of times with a pair of RBI doubles. Brett Hayes will run. The Mets will play the outfield as deep as humanly possible in this big place. Dobbs last night in the middle of the order in the 3 spot. 3 hits, the 2 RBI doubles, also singled.
And of all the things he's done as far as the playing time, he has still been impressive as a pinch hitter. 9 for 22 with a home run and 8 RBIs off the bench.
The second of his doubles was against Acosta. He takes down low.
And if you're wondering, Hayes is right now about the best choice to pinch run, because you have Cameron with a little hamstring strain, Vinny Rottino, and John Baker.
Rottino is on deck. Acosta misses up. Well, as you pointed out, Terry Collins had a couple of arms he wanted to stay away from at the back of the ball game.
Yeah, his 2 big guys, Isringhausen and Parnell, and they have that doubleheader tomorrow, so you know those guys will see a lot of action tomorrow.
Dobbs going to get a 2-0 pitch here. Tying runs at first with 2 outs in the 9th. And Acosta threw a straight changeup at the letters.
Looking for that 2-0 fastball. It shows the patience of a Dobbs. He didn't get the fastball, so he just took it. Kind of messes up your thinking, though. If you get a 2-0 changeup, you're not sure what you're going to get the next few pitches.
Oh, a strike called. I don't think Dobbs liked that call. And it looked like a changeup that tailed away. Kerwin Danley has had a rough 9th inning here.
Yeah, it's been tough. Other than this inning, he's had a pretty solid game, but it's been a tough one here.
He rung Peterson up on a pitch that was even further out than that to open the inning up. Big difference between 3-1 and 2-2. Dobbs got the heat inside, fouls it back.
Boy, after a couple of changeups, just to foul that 97-mile-an-hour fastball off to an accomplishment.
Mets and Marlins for the final time this season. Greg Dobbs pinch hitting. Manny Acosta trying to shut the door. Secure a win for R.A. Dickey, who was splendid again. 3 starts against the Marlins and has not given up a run in any of those 3 starts. 2-2 coming to Greg Dobbs. Off speed, back to the mound. Acosta flips to first, and the Mets win the ball game. A 1-0 shutout. R.A. Dickey, a little bit of Josh Stinson, and mix in some Manny Acosta. That's what you get, 1-0. Nets win it. And who would have thought that in the first inning, when Lucas Duda lined this pitch down the left field line, that this would be our Gunther Volkswagen drive of the game. But it was, and it is, the only run scored in tonight's game. It took 2 hours and 47 minutes to play. The Mets and the Marlins split the season series. How about that?